watching Let's Chat.
So I'm married. My wife hates it when I pick on her because I think you know how it is, guys. Ladies, does your husband pick on you? You know, because he knows that you know he's flirting and he loves you, but really you're just thinking, dude, you're a dumbass. Yeah, me too. I thought this would be, y'all, I thought this would be so cute. We have one of those robot vacuum cleaners. You know the vacuum cleaner that looks like a garbage can lid and goes through the house while you're at work and gets hung under the recliner and burns a hole in the carpet? We have one of those, and I thought this would be great. I programmed it so that at midnight it wakes up in its charger and it backs out of it and drives to our bedroom and goes to my wife's side of the bed and just looks at her.
Let's see, things not to get my wife for the next holiday occasion. I gotta tell you, Beaz, that's the first time I have heard you do that particular part of your act. And it seems like you can draw the funniest stories out of thin air with the most minute observation of anybody I think I've ever seen. It's a gift, isn't it?
It certainly is. I appreciate that compliment, man. And I just got to tell you, that is indeed my gift. I can take, generally speaking, a regular old story about stuff that goes on around the house or wherever and embellish it and then relate it to my audience in a funny manner. So I've been really, and blessed is the word, man. I've been really lucky to be able to do that. Part of it is because I read a lot growing up. And anybody out there watching this, young people read a lot. It's amazing what you can get from a sentence. I mean, Go ahead, man.
You have been a huge proponent of children reading at an early age ever since I've known you, and it's not part of the Killer Beaz Act. You're dead serious on this.
I certainly am, and as I look back on my wonderfully blessed career, it always comes back to the fact that wordsmithing is huge. It is absolutely huge. And I was a voracious reader since I was a little bitty kid. I mean, everything under the sun, I would read it. The description on the back of the Crest toothpaste tube. Crest has been proven to be a cavity-fighting dentifrice when used with a conscientious program of oral hygiene and regular professional care. That's pretty close. And I've not read the toothpaste tube in a millennium, but that's pretty close to the quote on that. But just the way that you can twist and change the verbiage and the wordsmithing of a sentence or a message is huge when you're or actually not just when you're an entertainer. That is huge in the way you communicate with people and get ideas across. So
tell me about how you, of course, you've been on how many cruise ship tours now? 140,
I think I've done
150?
188. I think I've done 188 cruises.
Wow. What was your thought when you heard that cruise ships were essentially a petri dish for this COVID-19 pandemic? What went through your mind? Because I know Terry goes on a lot of these with you, and after you've been on so
Terry
many,
being corporate, my wife, who owns the company that books me, so that. Anyway,
what went through your head when you turn on the news? Cruise ship, coronavirus, cruise ship, COVID-19. That had to have made you stop and do some serious thinking for a while.
Well, Ian, that's a good question, because there are hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of comics that have worked these cruise ships who are in the same boat, no pun intended. When the corona hit, I had already we had already pulled me off the ships because we had months worth of land-based gigs that we were doing. We have theaters and clubs all across the country. And that's where I'm kind of lucky, is that I have a fan base on the cruise ships, but I have a longer who's a fan base who's been with me for nearly 40 years on land. So I get to do both. And so when Corona came around, we had already pulled me off the ships for an extended run on land. One
Wow.
reason is one reason is just the constant travel internationally to do these cruise ships, because they'll fly the comedians all over the Caribbean. Chip, we'll go to that. They'll fly me to Belize, Honduras, Jamaica, all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot of time traveling. So
Sure.
we did not want to lose our momentum that we've spent almost 4 decades building on land. So we weren't affected by those particular cancellations
Right.
at sea. And I will say
All
this
right.
as well. When I
Hang
first went
on.
to the ship, okay.
All right, they're making us take another commercial break, Beaz. Sorry,
What
but we
is
gotta
up with
we
that?
gotta bring in a little money to help pay, for your appearance here on
That's right,
Let's
dude,
Chat.
dude, you should see the check I'm getting for this.
We're back with more of Killer Beaz and Let's Chat right after this.